Hello everyone, welcome back for some more thrift store finds. Just went to the Goodwill bargain bins and had a fantastic start to the week after the long weekend due to the holiday. Found some great stuff, a ton of VHS, DVDs, great book finds, just the gamut, and it's definitely one of the better finds I've had recently, so it was fantastic. We're going to get into the VHS, but before that, just want to bring up one of the books, just to kind of explain like why, after you do this kind of thing for a while, sometimes just with experience, instinct can really be helpful, especially on days like today where it was unusually busy. It's comes and goes, but today there were a lot of people, like at least 30 or 40 people within the first hour. In some days it's only maybe 10, so it was a higher business busy day, so it's harder to get at some of the bins sometimes. And this is the kind of thing that normally most people pass up. I would normally pass up this type of book. You just kind of know instinctively what things are going to be worth grabbing and not, but for some reason I had no idea what this was. The works of Jonathan Edwards, Volume 1, Freedom of the Will, and this is I think early 50s printing, one of the earlier hardcover editions, and I just knew, I was like, this is not something I normally would grab, but like I didn't even look it up, I don't know what it is, I just have a feeling, and brought it home and looked it up, and this book by itself pays for everything in this video. This will be my break-even point right there. So sometimes instinct just kind of takes over and you get good stuff. So let's go through all the VHS, starting off with a handful from an old school library. A lot of these books on video. They do them occasionally on DVD the past 10-15 years or so, but it was a little more common during the VHS era. You'd have a really popular children's book, and then they have like a book on tape where someone narrates the book for you as a little kid, like learning to read, and then sometimes you'd have it on video, which is basically the book on tape with the images from the actual book added onto it. It was a really cool experience. So a handful of these, and a lot of these are a little bit harder to find now, so I grabbed a couple of those. Snow, Joseph Had a Little Overcoat, Swamp Angel, and then getting some more of the movies, we have Money to Burn, which is become a fairly somewhat rare VHS tape. It's one of those in kind of that middle ground where it's not the super common stuff, it's not the super crazy rare indie horror movie or whatever. It's kind of that middle ground with when you can grab it for 5 cents is like fantastic to pick up, so it's always good. This is an old rental tape, but it's really cool. This Golden Jubilee Warner Brothers cartoons, and normally it's not one I pick up, but it has some good artwork and tapes in really good shape, and it's just kind of one of those kind of little collector piece type items. Then we have Mission Monte Carlo, The Lady Vanishes, Scooby-Doo, the first of those live action ones, Cat Ballou, the animated Swiss Family Robinson, the Star Maker release, which is a little bit harder to find than any of the live action adaptations, Lee Van Cleef in Escape from Death Row, Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Cliffhanger with Stallone. This is a fun action movie that I watch every few years on Laserdisc. Under Siege, the Tim Allen Santa Claus, coming up to be that time of year soon. We have a CNN tribute, America Remembers the Events of 9/11, Dead Man's Walk, Coyote Summer, and Just Like Dad, Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within, Mel Gibson, Payback, A Family for Joe, Predator, Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes, Wesley Snipes, Passenger 57, Batman Forever, another one for the upcoming holiday season. We have National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and then from the American Experience line with Ken Burns, PBS Video, George Washington, The Man Who Wouldn't Be King. And moving on to the DVD finds, just one Blu-ray Get Out, the Blu-ray DVD combo, Three's Company, Seasons 1 and 2. This I was happy to grab because we have Season 1 up on the store right now, but we have MTV's Newlyweds with Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey, complete Seasons 2 and 3. So I'm going to have to change that listing from Season 1 to 1 through 3, which is great. That's much more likely to sell. This is a really cool James Bond box set from that Ultimate Edition line with these kind of silvery covers that they did. Volume 4, which includes Dr. No, You Only Live Twice, Moonraker, Octopussy, and Tomorrow Never Dies. It's a 10-disc set because each one of them has at least 2 discs to the movie and special features, and this was a pretty cool line they had. I forget how many volumes there were total. I think like 5 off the top of my head, but they're pretty cool. Kevin Bacon in Taking Chance. Swingers. The Great Gatsby, the DiCaprio version. Terminal. This, I never knew this existed. This is kind of interesting. That CGI Beowulf movie, apparently there was a game on PC. Never knew they made a game for that, so that's kind of an interesting thing. Run Silent, Run Deep. A John Wayne 25 film collection in this tin case, plus a documentary, one of the earlier Mill Creek releases. White Collar, Season 4. The Simpsons, Season 4. Polar Express. 1 volume of the old Flash Gordon, and some of the Archie comics, the cartoon, vintage video, 10 Riverdale High Adventures. All Is Lost. The Metropolitan Opera Gala, James Levine's 25th anniversary. One of these TV kids' favorite releases, 2 episodes of Scooby-Doo's Mind Your Business, which includes Mind Your Own Business and Decoy for Dog Napper. 9 Lives. Man Against Crime. The Terror with Boris Karloff. 9. Evening. Action Jackson. I watched this on VHS a couple of years ago. It was a pretty fun action movie. Clerks. Running Scared. City of Men. Sealed copy of Blade Trinity. 2 Guns. Longest Yard. Danielle Steele's No Greater Love. We have this one in our own collection. It's actually a really good release. We have Sesame Street 25 Wonderful Years, a musical celebration. I really like that disc myself. Braveheart. Christmas Grace. Civil War Gold, a National Geographic documentary. Blue Crush. My Mom's New Boyfriend. Ooh. The Book of Life. Spectre, James Bond movie. Captain America, The First Avenger. Pixels. Strangers. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. The Puppy and the Ring. Balto 3, never knew there was a 3. Saw 4. The Long Walk Home. The Incredibles 2. Spy. The Fighter. Stripes. Old School and Over the Hedge. Role Models. Ghostbusters. The Spy Who Dumped Me. Catch Me If You Can. The First Pirates. TMNT, one of my favorite movies growing up. This will always be my favorite of those live-action Turtles movies. Fantastic movie. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Godzilla and Pacific Rim double feature. The Heartbreak Kid. Luther, Volume 4, BBC series. Les Mis. The First Wives Club. Avatar. The Martian. Transporter 2. And the Russell Crowe Robin Hood. One oddball thing, then we'll get into the books, but we have all of the pieces and money from one of the versions of the Disney's Monopoly. So all the just kind of loose parts to people looking for their missing pieces over the years. Happens with board games a lot of times. If it's board game is not worth picking up, sometimes it's worth grabbing all the pieces because people lose pieces and need replacements. And then we'll get into the books, starting with something that I can't believe I never knew existed. This blew my mind completely. It's just one of those things that somehow I've never come across. Blade Runner 2, The Edge of Human, by K.W. Jeter. And I, like, wait, what? I love Blade Runner. I've been a huge fan my entire life, ever since I first rented the VHS tape. I've read, obviously, the original, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and I've read the novelization, and just somehow, I never knew, and I looked this up, apparently there are 3 direct sequels, official sequels to the movie. One in the 80s and 2 in the early 90s. Somehow, never saw them at my local library, never saw them at a bookstore, never heard anyone talk about them ever. I never knew they existed. Somehow, in the past, like, close to 40 years, I'd never come across that there were 3 novel sequels to Blade Runner. I always just thought there was the novelization and some comics, obviously, and then, of course, the original story. How is that possible? That in all that time, I've never heard anyone mention them once. I've never come across them. I was at the library literally every week growing up as a kid. Bookstores all the time. Always been a big reader. Never once came across an ad or anything. How is that possible? It's just weird. It goes to show, like, what is out there in the world, that even that something that's not super obscure, you may never come across. And completely blew my mind, and now I have to look for the other 2, because I can't believe this is a thing. How have I never heard of this before? It's just bizarre that I've never ever heard that these existed. So really happy to find, the hardcover with the dust jacket in really, like, pristine shape. This blew my mind. Looking through the first thing of books, it's literally the first of like 4 bins of books. I pulled this out and I just stood there for a couple of seconds. Like, normally I'm going through very quickly at first, and then you kind of get more picky and go through stuff, put things back, whatever. But I just stood there for a second, like, looking like, what? Wait, what is this? This is a thing. What? Who knew? Not me. So, yeah, now we have a bunch more books to go through, but that was just, are you kidding me? Yeah, then I feel like I'm living in, like, an alternate reality, like, because, like, how? All right, I never knew those existed. One good stack of little golden books. I love finding these, especially older ones, and kind of hold out for, themed lots of them, or the ones based on certain old cartoons. Love finding these. We have Inspector Gadget in Africa, Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, one of the classic Winnie the Pooh tales. Disney's Home on the Range, slightly newer one. This is pretty cool. Buck Rogers and the Children of Hopetown. Buck Rogers, I remember watching the original, the TV show. There's the movie, TV show, whatever, but I watched the reruns of the TV show as a kid, and it was one of those kind of really goofy shows. I don't think I'd really go back and rewatch, but, like, I remember that. Like, that's really cool. I never knew there was a little golden book. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This is a good classic, older one. It's have a Book of God's Gifts, David and Goliath, so a couple of Bible-themed ones. Things will put together after you find enough that kind of work together. Elmo's Tricky Tongue Twisters, Mickey Mouse and the Best Neighbor Contest, The Night Before Christmas, Forest Hotel, A Counting Story, one of these Barbie ones, Barbie's Cinderella, and then A Christmas Story is another classic Christmas one that people are always kind of looking for. There's a handful of Christmas ones that I always kind of wait until I have the 4 or 5 of them that are just sort of like the staples, that they work well around Christmas time as a lot, but that was really cool to start. Now we have an older one of these Disney books, Bambi Gets Lost, one of the Warriors books, From Here to You, Deep Blue, 2 Tad Williams hardcovers, these hardy things. We have Shadow Play and Shadow March, as well as Empires of Light, Cameo Courtships, which is 4 stories of women whose lives are touched by a legendary gift. This is a book that's always been on my reading list. I had this one already, just haven't dug into it yet. But we have Star Trek 7 Deadly Sins. This is one that looks very unread, so I actually want to check to see if this is better than my copy and whatever. That was really cool to find some Star Trek in there. We have Happy Birthday, Samantha. The Series of Unfortunate Events was this volume 6. Another one of those that are good to hold on to until we have most of the series. Animorphs. Just one randomly in there. I like to find a bunch of them, but hey, found one. This is volume 27. Then the Thea Stilton, The Journey to Atlantis, The Family Upstairs, Jessica Simpson, Open Book, Once There Were Wolves, and then something that, another type of book that I almost never grab from the bins because they're usually the kind of ones that are like given away for free, like they're worthless. But Bibles. Every once in a while, there's some that I look at that like maybe, and sometimes they are. This is actually really definitely worth grabbing for like maybe a quarter. But the Holy Bible 500th anniversary, the Good Shepherd, with this leather-bound cover too. So that was actually something that was worth grabbing and looking through. So a really, really good day. I'm surprised with everything that was there. Fantastic. And I couldn't believe some of the stuff that I found. Like that, I'm still in awe that I had no idea that those Blade Runner books existed. How have I never come across them in my life? Just weird. And then just incredible that like everything here was pretty much covered by this. So that alone is like, oh my gosh, that was a good morning. So fantastic start to the week. I hope you're also having a great start to your week. And I'd love to see if you've been to a thrift store, what finds have you grabbed, do anything fun over the weekend, and if you are a PS5 gamer like myself, are you looking forward to this weekend? We have Astrobot coming out. I don't think I've been this excited for a platformer in a long time. I think the only other thing in recent memory would be like re-releases or collections of older ones like the Klonoa collection, but as far as like a new platformer coming out, maybe like Mario Odyssey was the first time, the one that's not just a a port or a remaster or a collection, but a brand new thing. So that's been a while. What was that? 2017. It's been a long time. So really, really excited for that.